This is Russell with Russell Does Stuff. Welcome back to my channel. I work 6 hours on Monday till noon, 6 hours on Tuesday till noon, and if I don't get any of that stuff on Monday and Tuesday done, I'll do it on Wednesday morning. Then I have Monday afternoons off, Tuesday afternoons off, Wednesdays off, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm always going to keep working. I'm not going to sit in the house and do absolutely nothing. I've given my customers my time for a long time. And it's time that I spend my time the way I want to spend my time. It belongs to me now. My time used to belong to everybody else. I exchanged my time for money. I had no choice. I was trapped. Paying bills. Paying payments on vehicles and stuff. Sometimes to impress girls. Sometimes because I needed a certain vehicle to do a certain job. I've had a lot of companies. I've bought box trucks. Small trucks, big trucks, trailers, big machines that form K-gutters. I've bought equipment to outfit a cabinet shop. I had a $6,000 machine that I used to spray bed liners. I've owned forklifts. I've owned lots of things. Expensive lawnmowers, cheap lawnmowers. There's always been tools in my life. Every business I've been involved in has had tools. I needed tools in order to perform the tasks of that business. You want a good guard dog, get a Sheltie. Don't get a hound dog. They'll lick the intruder to death. So why? Let me set this down here. Why lawn care? Why did I pick lawn care? Well, to be honest with you, it kind of picked me. Because after I was fired from an AC company that I was working for, that got me out of living in a tent, I used that money that I was making over that year doing AC work. I was able to pay the first and last on an apartment. Well, let me take that back. She let me skip out on the security deposit in the last payment. So she allowed me to get in. I think I was renting this, it wasn't an apartment, it was a house for $750. So she allowed me to move in, and I think the reason she let me move into this place was because she felt bad for my daughter. Okay, that's why she let me get in there for cheap. So I don't believe I had first and last saved up, because I think I had around $1,000 saved up. And the owner of the company that I worked for, he gave me $2,500 at the end of that year's lease. That's when I got fired. But why lawn care? Well, I had a friend of mine named Chris that was jealous of me when I had my other businesses. He'd come around and spy on what I'm doing and checking out my businesses. And was he a friend of mine? I don't really know if he was a friend of mine. Looking back at it, he was always about himself. Had a big ego, and he opportunist type fella. When the economy was going bad, he wanted to invest in one of my businesses, and I let him. I told him, you're taking the risk. So he ended up losing his investment. I paid him back through labor and some money, but I ended up going to work for him. And he's the guy that yelled at me for for 2 seasons, and he taught me lawn care through his unique ways of yelling and stuff. So I just shut my mouth. I let him yell at me, and learned as much as I could about managing a property. He sent me out to a house once. I think it was just to get me out of his hair, and he had 2 pallets of mulch, and this was a big house. He goes, I need you to mulch this house. So it took me all day, and he came back to check on me. He goes, why aren't you done? Well, I didn't know what I was doing, so it took me forever. So I didn't mulch a house the correct way. So I didn't learn how to mulch a house the correct way until years later. He was also dishonest with how he was treating me, and I was on salary, and he decided 1 week not to pay me salary, and that was about the 3rd time, you know, he was funny about paying me. And as an ex-business owner, I knew what he was making and what he was bringing in, and I kind of figured out what his bills were and stuff. But I kept my mouth shut, and I just wanted to work, you know. He had me running his company. I was running the crew. I was an asset to this guy. You know, I was driving the truck. I was overseeing everybody. I was reporting back to him if he called and stuff. So I think he blew an opportunity to have somebody finally come in and help him run his business. I didn't want to be a business owner. I didn't want to do lawn care. Like I said, I thought I was above it, you know. So when he didn't pay me my salary, he paid me like $300 and some. And I clicked my heels. I turned around at 7 something in the morning, and I walked off. Okay, I got in my Ford Explorer and I drove into the rising sun. And I'm glad I did that. That was like 14 years ago. And I said in another video, the 13th anniversary of that, I called him and I thanked him for teaching me everything. Because without him yelling and screaming at me, I wouldn't be where I am today. So always show appreciation to people who have helped you out on your journey. In this case, he likes me still. You know, he wants to be my friend, but you know, I want to be around people that are honest and they don't have huge egos and stuff. So, but why lawn care? Throughout my business life, my entrepreneurial life, I've had over 60 employees. Was it worth it? I'm going to say no. Every single one of these guys was a pain in a butt in their own unique way. Okay? So, when I started my lawn service, some of Chris's employees called me up because they liked me. They wanted to come work for me. So Chris fired one of his guys and I had him come work for him. He was a pain in the butt. He was out drinking and getting in trouble, and yeah, young kid. I think he went to jail, and that's why he didn't show up. I was doing a large job at a bank I had landed. You know, I ended up having to do half of that myself. So employees worth it? I'm going to say no. Every once in a while you'll get a diamond in the rough, and that's worth it. These people don't want to own a business or anything. They want to punch the clock. They want to provide for their family, and they don't want the hassles of making sure that all the bills are paid and there's water in the break room. Okay. Another reason why lawn care, it's the most abundant plant on the earth. Okay. Everybody needs their grass cut. Everybody. All right. Down here, everybody needs their grass cut. I don't know many people that cut their own grass. Okay. It's becoming less and less and less and less as these mowers at Home Depot go up and up and up. You know, some of these machines are dangerous, and some of these people are intimidated by them. So lawn care prices are still here. They've gone up a little bit, but you know, it's relatively cheap to get your lawn cut. Okay. My business grows back. Every week, my business grows back. Okay? During hurricanes, people need things. They need the branches picked up in their yards. They need their trees trimmed. They need their house mulched. They need their irrigation fixed. You know? Why lawn care? Because there's money in it. Okay? I can scale this business. I can make this business as large as I want. As long as I keep pumping the profits back into it, I can grow it as big as I want. I've been big and I've been small. Okay? That's when I'm small, I become big again. People come up to me all the time and ask me to do stuff, you know? And it's just not small jobs, it's big jobs, you know? I was pulled back into a large account, you know? And I was quite comfortable not doing it anymore, okay? There's enough of this business for everybody. It's not cutthroat. People aren't, you know, you see a long guy out riding around in traffic, they're not trying to run you off the road. You know, they're exhausted and you may get a wave and you may not get a wave, you know. Why lawn care? Because by myself I can make $14,000 to $20,000 a month. Okay? And I've done that. I've done that for years. That's some great mailbox money. I'll reiterate. I'll beat this over the head like a dead horse. People mail a check to me every month. I like that. I don't want to do swimming pools. Okay? I don't see one man making over $100,000 a year. I don't see that business scaling past a certain amount by themselves. So then you hire people, you need trucks and stuff, and I don't understand enough about the pool service, but I know a lot of people that do it. They won't do what I do, and I won't do what they do. Okay? They make money on pumps, and they upsell filtration systems, heat siphons and stuff if they're into that and stuff. There is good money in cleaning swimming pools, but I'm not going to stand there and brush algae off of a concrete wall. I'd rather mow grass. Okay, I'd rather mow algae with my lawn mower. Okay, this is relatively low overhead. Okay, you can get into this business for a little bit of money. I bought a $1,500 truck. I wore it out. I bought another $1,500 truck. I bought a $500 mower. I wore that out. Bought another $500 mower. Okay. The secret about this business that I haven't told anybody yet is during the winter, from November to somewhere in May, I work every other week. Okay, and the trick is to have year-round customers that are prorated, so that they send you a check every month. They're paying you year-round, and you're working every other week. What other business gives you more than 2 weeks vacation a year? Okay, the guy I work for, Chris, he knew that. He told that to me in the conversation we had when I talked to him last year, and I thanked him for showing me the lawn care business and how to run it the correct way. He goes, Russ, we are in a unique business where we work really hard in the summer, and it's brutal at times, but we get a lot of vacation time. Chris has an RV, a big RV, and he goes out in it a lot. I have holidays off if I want them. I got Christmas off, Thanksgiving off. So before the season starts, I'll look at my calendar. I'll start my season a week early or a week later, depending on the holidays. Okay, because every year the holidays land on different days and stuff. But when I was coming up on the up, I worked my every other week. Okay, I would buy a lawn business in January, and I would do it in the easiest time of the year and take that money and pay it off. Okay, so now in September, when the summer starts, May, June, I would combine both of those businesses, and then I would set one route. Okay, that's how I did it. Okay, it's no big secret. You know, for the last 3 or 4 years, I've taken every other week off. Okay, I've gone on trips. I've stayed around here and done home improvement projects. I've worked on my Jeep restoration business, my flips. Okay, I'm able to go run over to the next county and look at a Jeep if I want to. Okay, but I didn't do that during the first 10 years or so. I worked every single day. I worked Monday through Saturday, and I prepared for my Mondays on Sundays. Okay, so that's why I'm in the lawn care business. All right, because I can do it without employees. Okay, I can do it till 2 o'clock if I want. I can start at 7 o'clock if I want. Okay, I'm in control of what I'm doing. All right, but everybody knows if you're in this business and you want to be smart about it, you get up early, you get it done, and you get home. Okay, you get up at 6, you're home by noon. That's almost a 5.5 hour day. You know, that's why I'm doing my Mondays and Tuesdays like this. All right. I know there's some states where you can't do that. Start a lawn business. Alaska maybe, Montana, I don't know. But you can mow lawns in the season and you can do snow removal and stuff like that. I know that there's a lot of companies where it snows, they mow in the summer. They have a summer for 3 or 4 months, and then they do snow removal and stuff like that during the winter to bring in more money, you know. So this business works best in, you know, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, not so much Arizona, Nevada. Okay, you get what I'm saying? So, you know, if I get subscribers from Arizona, you know, maybe some of the things that I've done in this business might help them in the business that they're in, because, you know, there is landscaping in Arizona. You know, when I was at a McDonald's in Arizona, they had cactuses around the building, you know, and rocks and landscaping and stuff. I didn't see any grass. So there is a market for that. There's a lot of office buildings that need plants in their reception area, the waiting rooms and stuff. I know a bunch of people that have that business where they go maintenance and maintain the flowers and plants in the offices, dentist offices and stuff. And they charge them a monthly fee. They'll swap out the plants, you know, take them back to wherever their location is, you know, get them up and going again, and rotate them out, you know. You can do this business strictly indoors, but just changing out plants and maintaining plants for people, you know. You don't have to cut lawns. You can go to office buildings and stuff that don't have grass and maintain their parking lots and stuff. Everywhere I've been, there's trees everywhere, there's leaves everywhere, there's debris everywhere, you know. You can get maintenance contracts pretty much any and everywhere you go, you know. When I lived in Oregon for a while, the biggest thing that they had going on was maple leaves, and they were a mess. So if you could figure out how to clean up a property and get rid of their maple leaves for them, you know, you were a hero. So it's the most abundant plant on the earth. Why lawn care? Because it gave me financial freedom. Okay, I was going to do this business. If it killed me, I was going to do this. And I thought some days I thought I was going to die on someone's lawn. All right, I was going to die trying to become successful. I wanted financial freedom so bad that it was a life or death thing for me. Okay, I can remember vividly where I was at when I thought I was going to buy the farm. I'm mowing this mean customer's house and weed eating his fence line that goes around his mansion. And every year I thought, this is where I'm gonna meet my end. I'm gonna just keel over and die in this guy's backyard. But you know what? I didn't. You know. I don't like employees, but I like doing this. I can do this into my 70s if I want. There's tons of people out there doing it past their 70s. I see them every day. They're doing 12 or 15 lawns just to make enough money to where it doesn't get in the way of their pensions or their Social Security, you know. I know what the rules are for when I'm in my 60s, and I know what the rules are for when I'm in my 70s. So right now I'm preparing for my 60s. I'm going to the gym, I'm saving money, I'm investing my money so it'll grow. So I'm preparing a nest egg for when I'm in my 60s, all right? When I want to work only Mondays, 6 hours a week. And when you watch a video of me when I'm in my 60s, I'm going to say, this is Russell, with Russell Does Stuff. I work Monday until noon. I have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. All right, if you like this kind of stuff, like and subscribe. If you just accidentally are passing through, or you're passing through and this isn't something you like and subscribe. Help a guy out. Okay, I'm trying to grow my channel. Come back in a few weeks or a month. I've got some good content coming up. I've got an investment that I'm doing. I'm not sure if I'm going to hire a camera guy or not to help me with that. But if this isn't your thing, I get it, you know, but I appreciate you stopping by. That's why I'm in lawn care, and this is Russell with Russell Does Stuff.